Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. Today we are talking about the Vertx S.O.C.P Fanny Pack and why I carry this now instead of the Gunfighter 14. Some of you may remember the Gunfighter 14 video, especially the older subscribers, because that was kind of the first video I posted on here that did well, and I don't carry that anymore. Since posting that video, I've had a kid, my hands are a little bit more full, and so I needed a different option to carry what I wanted to carry day in and day out, and I wanted to slim those things down a little bit, and in the process of doing that, I found the Vertx S.O.C.P Fanny Pack, so we're going to be talking about that today. But I am your host, Jake, and this is GridBase, a place for us to talk about the world we want to live in and not the fear chaos world that they want us to think we're living in, right? And when I say they, you know who I'm talking about. And if you know who I'm talking about, subscribe, like, leave a comment. Let me know who they is, because I don't really know who they are, but I know who they are. You know what I'm saying? It's been a busy week here at GridBase. Monday, we posted a podcast that we did with Redacted LLC. We had an awesome time, great conversation. You know, the first half talking about the base station unit that I sell through GridBase, and in the second half of that talking a little more conceptually about the world that we live in and what we can do to make it a better place. So if you're interested in listening to that, go ahead and check out the link below. And man, we've had a ton of orders. I've been working on orders all week. I'm kind of retuning the operating system to make it a little better. We had a guy from Saskatchewan, Canada call. He wants to put 10 units in his store, so it's just been a tremendous week, and I'm finally getting this video out, and I'm happy that I'm able to do that. But let's talk about the S.O.C.P Fanny Pack. First of all, the S.O.C.P Fanny Pack from Vertx was developed with Greg Thompson, who is the founder of S.O.C.P, and as such, it features some very cool S.O.C.P specific features. And one of those features is this dagger right here. So I don't know if you can see, there's little holes all around here, so you can put this dagger in different configurations if you're right-handed or left-handed, but it integrates into this pack really well so that it doesn't come out. It's got a really good clip on it, and this just makes a very good box opener for opening all of those boxes. Yeah, it's just a great little spot, and of course back here there's enough room to keep a little notepad, which I do. So yeah, I just wanted to start talking about this pack a little bit, you know. Also, I don't know if you can see these little rings right here. This seems just like a way to hold on to it, but the great thing about these rings is that it allows you to wear this fanny pack as a crossbody. You've got a very nice crossbody bag. So this is a very awesome feature, and when I'm riding the motorcycle, I'll wear it like this just because it's easier for me to get access to some of these things. Of course, I'm going to make, because I didn't put the zippers in the right spot. And that's one of the things that I wanted to bring up, which is that when you're wearing this bag, as long as you're familiar with your right hand or left hand or where things are, it's very easy to get into it once you've got the zipper placement ready to go. But a little bit of a detail there, but yeah, this is an awesome way to wear this pack. Now, I keep a lot of stuff in here, right? And this video is going to be kind of a two-parter. The first part, I'm just going to be talking about the fanny pack, how it fits, and all of that. And the second part, I'm going to be talking about what I keep inside of it. So there it is, in all of its glory. Now, it's great. I could set my kid here. I love that about it. We went to the zoo. I think I might post on, I might make another blog channel and post some content like that over there. But yeah, we went to the zoo, we went to the aquarium, and it's nice. I can just set him on this and have him walking around, but obviously that's a very specific feature. But I want to talk about what's inside of here today. Now, I do got to keep it PG because this is YouTube, so I'm just going to say that a Schmock 17 fits in here really well, right? Especially if it has a weapon light, which it should. It's a fantastic place for that. But now, what I keep in here is these high-fin chest seals. These are for, you know, entry and exit wounds that create tension pneumothoraxes, which is when excess air gets into your body cavity and puts pressure on your lungs so you can't breathe. We don't like that, so we take this with us everywhere. It's great for if you're at the range and somebody lets one go wild a little bit. You know, you want to have that on you. Now, another thing that I like to keep in there is some compressed gauze. This is great for those barbecues when you get too much barbecue sauce on your mouth and you need to wipe it up. You can use a lot of compressed gauze for that. But it's also great for packing junctions for any type of puncture wound. And you know, one thing that I never see anybody mention is that these little wings over here, first of all, they have a pocket, right? But also the inside of this bag fills into these wings, and in these wings I keep a RAT tourniquet, a rapid application tourniquet. Now, there's a lot of opinions on these. Some people love them, some people hate them. I think they're great to carry around because they're perfect for small limbs, and half the people I hang around all the time have small limbs, so a full-size tourniquet does me no good. But yeah, these RAT T tourniquets are great to have around, and they fit inside of here really well. Now, usually I keep a chem light in here, but I used it the other day and I need to restock it, and I don't have that right now. Now, also inside of here, if you want to pull this out, you've got this little deployable, which it does have a strap on the back for rapid deployment, but yeah, it's just a nice little pack. And you know, I keep things in here like a lighter and chapstick and a Lishi Key. We're going to talk about this later and why I keep this in there. But yeah, Band-Aids and headache medicine and all that kind of stuff. You know, it's a nice, easy spot for that little daily medical situation. But of course, it doesn't have to be in there if you don't want it to be. You can take it out. So we'll go ahead and zip that up. Now, in this front pouch here, this is really where I keep everything that I use on a day-to-day basis. So the first thing we have in here is, of course, my wallet. The second thing is a Gerber NXT. You're familiar with this most likely, if not from my previous videos, just from the fact that it's a ubiquitous, awesome multi-tool. So we'll keep that in there. And now I also keep a pair of Knipex Cobra XS pliers. These are a fantastic addition to keep anywhere. They're certainly much better than the pliers that come on most multi-tools there. Now, there's two packs up here in the front. I just emptied the left one, so now I'm going to move over to the right one, and we're going to talk about that. So the first thing that I have over there is this MicroStream from Streamlight. It's rechargeable. It has a clip on it that you can put on your hats. If you're not familiar with this, you should make yourself familiar with it because it is a great addition to any pack. Just a nice, powerful, small light. Now, we also keep this Covert Instruments lock-picking set in here, and this is such a great tool. Again, I'm going to be talking about all of these things a little bit later in the video, and I'm also going to be linking to them in the description of this video if you're interested in any of these things. But this is a great lock-picking tool to keep with you at all times. Now, less excitingly, just a regular pair of headphones that I've got in here. And lastly, we're going to talk about the Flipper Zero, a digital lock-picking tool, just a multi-tool for us to be able to interface with some of the things that we already are interfacing with every day, but in a much more secure and concise package. So we're talking about that here in just a minute. Now, I didn't mention this. We'll talk about it later, but this is a tensioner for picking locks, and you got to keep that with you. Now, the last thing in here is kind of my charging station, if you want to call it that. This is a charging block. I'm sorry, not a charging block. This is a cable block that just has a bunch of different cables in it. So USB-C to micro USB, iPhone, USB 2.0. It just lets us interface with all the different random cables that we have, and it's certainly a nice thing to keep around. Right here in the middle, this is a 10,000 amp hour charging block. I love this so much. It's great for, you know, getting you out of a pinch when your phone's dead. And it's got little peripherals here so that you can plug other items into it. It's great. Now, the last thing up in here is this really thin wall charger. Now, this is 5 volts, 3 amp output on USB-C, which is great because if I leave the house with my grid-based unit and I don't want to take the wall charger with it or the battery pack or something like that, I can power it up using this, and it's very thin, so it fits in this pack very well. Now, I think this is kind of a gimmicky feature, but I am going to talk about it because it is a feature. But right here in the front, you can keep your phone, and you can peel back these little layers right here so that if you had your phone in there and your camera was facing forward, you could potentially videotape the surroundings that you were in, and no one would be any wiser because you can just kind of tuck this down in there like that, and your phone can just sit in there while it's recording. It's an interesting feature, not a feature that I ever get any use out of, but a good feature nonetheless. Now, another interesting thing that I've never seen anyone talk about on this Vertx Fanny Pack is that when you have your phone and it's in here and you go to open it up, I have never ever had it fall out, which seems like an innocuous thing, but yeah, my phone's never fallen out. You saw how I pulled it out and it just stayed right there. And I think there's something about this material where it's really grippy, so it's never fallen out on me, and I just find that to be a tremendous feature of this pack, is that when I do have my phone in there and I go to open it up, it just stays right there. And I really like that about this pack. I don't use this feature much, but sometimes when I'm in the car, it's nice to have my phone there for directions, and that's really the only time that I use it. But knowing that it's not going to slide off or slide everywhere is a really awesome peace of mind whenever I am using that feature. So that has been the S.O.C.P Fanny Pack from Vertx. Now I want to move over to the table and I want to talk a little bit more about what I keep inside of it and why I keep it inside of there, right? Now I want to talk to you about some of the different stuff that I carry every day for forced entry. The first one being this Flipper Zero. There's lots of videos on what this does, but in short, it is a digital multi-tool that allows you to interface with the digital world around you. One of the ways you can use it is as a two-factor authentication key. I use it that way quite often. But this is only one tool that I carry for forced entry. Another one is this Lishi Key here. This is an FO38. This one is for mid-late 90s to early 2000s Ford vehicles. And I purchased this one because it is, that range of vehicles is the most common range of vehicles where I live. So this is just simply to get me access to a vehicle in the time when I need it and I don't have it. And it might be hard to imagine that type of time, but if there was a mass evacuation or something like that and I was in an area where I didn't have a vehicle and I needed one, this would give me that opportunity. And of course, we're talking about being law-abiding citizens, so I'm assuming that this is in a time when law and order has gone nuclear. So super hardcore contingency here. Of course, there's probably better uses for it, such as getting someone out of a car or helping someone in their car if they've locked themselves out, and just generally being a good community member. But this here is certainly something that I carry with me at all times. Now, I mentioned this earlier. This is a tensioner arm, and this tensioner arm is for picking locks. Now, this is a traditional lock-picking set. I believe that the person who owns Covert Instruments is a lock-picking lawyer, but I could totally be lying about that. It's just how it seems. He certainly pushes a lot of the product, and certainly for good reason. These are very high-quality lockpicks. I've skimped out on lockpicks before and regretted it, but as you can see here, using a simple wave rake, you can achieve I think I already got it, dude. I did. Yeah, using a wave rake, you can get into mini locks very simply. So just wanted to demonstrate that for you here, that this Covert Instruments lockpicking set here is really awesome to have. And of course, a tensioner arm and a practice lock is something you want to invest in as well. Now, some other hard tools that I keep around are these Knipex pliers. These are really great because if you can't get a lot of force on something, you only have to put force on the top side. So what I mean by that is that if you get these jaws around something, instead of having to squeeze really hard, you can actually just stand on one side, and that'll help you rotate a bolt off or whatever. It just gives you an opportunity to get more leverage on it there. But yeah, these are really tremendous. And of course, we've mentioned the Gerber NXT before. There's nothing really special to be said about this other than the fact that it locks in place, and that's why I like this so much, because you actually have to pull this tensioner back to unlock the mechanism and then fold it back into place. So yeah, the Gerber NXT, of course, it does also come with a clip on it. Love that. Now, this is my battery bank here. I love this thing. It's really easy to use as far as, having the 2 different plugs on it, USB-C and iPhone. Another thing I like about it is that on the end here, you've got an opportunity to plug in any type of USB or USB-C device that you may have. Makes it nice, you can charge 2 things off of it at once. Then of course we mentioned this earlier, this cable kit. Now this cable kit is, I find myself using this all the freaking time. And then, you know, to have all these different options with the micro USB and the iPhone there, I mean, it just makes it to where I'm never in a position where I can't charge the things that I rely on. Of course, the headphones here, and we did talk about those, right? And the MicroStream, last but not least. Now, the MicroStream is, there's 2 different models. There's one that's a AAA powered, and there's one that's rechargeable. I prefer the rechargeable one. As I mentioned earlier, I think you can focus the beam on it, and I think that that's a really great thing to have inside. But yeah, that's it there. Your guys' comments is what helps me make videos like these, so please continue to fuel the fire, baby. My name is Jake. This has been GridBase's weekly video. I hope you have a great day. Thanks. Bye-bye.